Phew, what a Christmas we had this year. Wally sunk 12 quarts of beer. Oh, that's intemperate, says Reverend Gray. Well, Walt says, well, being teetotal ain't that great. I mean, imagine waking up at 8 and knowing that's the best you're gonna feel all day. He says, but if I drops a worm in water, it'll wriggle like it oughter. But in beer, it dies as if attacked by germs. And Wally says, well done, hear that, everyone? Keep on drinking beer or you'll get worms. At the hospital's working for all they was worth. Every hair another birth. Vicar went down to see the new young mothers. He said, hello, Sister Belle. And why ain't you expecting as well? She says, I weren't on the Easter outing with the others. Our dentist, Ivor Ball, had emergency call. I'd take a tooth out for that nice Mrs. Spring. She says, will there be any pain? He says, I've done this time and time again, and I can truly say I've never felt a thing. She says, I nearly didn't come today. I nearly stayed away. I'm sure the pain will be more than I can bear. I'd rather have another baby. He just looks up and says, well, lady, make your mind up, because I got to adjust the chair. Yeah, I get it. We had decorations in the square. Salvation Army band played there. Captain says, if you know the words, join in, and if not, And he sees the Widow Pike. He says, and which hymn would you like? She says, oh, I'd like him with that big drum. And that great fat Teddy Bishop staggers in the fish and chip shop. He says, fish and chips and half a cottage loaf. She says, well, you're going to eat it here or you're going to take it with you. He says, darling, I expect I shall do both. Hey? Well, he sees this Irish miss. He says, how about a kiss? She says, what for? He says, well, I think it's a shame I've never kissed the Blarney Stone. But I bet your lips have kissed it. So if I kissed your lips, that'll be the same. On her face, it was a joy. She just stood there looking coy. And Ted, of course, he's proud of the way he's chatting it. She said, I'm sorry to have to tell you, I've never kissed the Blarney Stone. But I must confess that once or twice I've sat on it. Here, wait. And old George got married again, Boxing morning, 10:30. This time it was Mrs. Hodges' daughter, June. She looked all virginal in white. Then she says, George, tonight. He says, tonight be blown this afternoon. Oh, dear. And old Squirey tells the players in our football club, after the game, straight in the pub, you're on a pint per man per every goal you score. Well, of course, they didn't dream he'd say the same to the other team. We won by 90 goals to 84. At the match, bottle flew past, he said. It's all right, I'm a fatalist, he said. If your name's on it, then it'll knock your brains out, if you've got any. Bloke behind us started to shout. He says, let me out. And I says, what for? He says, because my name's Watley. Oh, well, Christmas Eve. Old Harry Dawes dresses up as Santa Claus. And he has a few and needs a map to find his way with. He goes down next door's chimbley instead. Ends up by Mrs. Toomer's bed. Then he says, I got something lovely here for you to play with. Wow! I mean, Tim, it was all in sport. This morning he's in court. And guess who's on the bench? Old Fish-Face Grimes. He said, I shall not treat this case with leniency. You've been charged with gross indecency. He said, cool, I ain't been indecent 144 times. He says, this year there has been more lechery and sin than any other year I can recall. I award this lady 10 quid. And Harry says, oh, splendid, and if I can afford it, I'll give her a bob or two and all. Well, Christmas come and went, and we felt the time well spent. It was add a bit more pudding, where's the bismuth? And though we drunk until we burst, may I be the first to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. You try rhyming with bismuth.